So what is up, gang? Welcome back to the channel. I hope you are doing well. So today we are learning about something interesting, and most of the application uses this feature, or you can say this is normal functionality. So we will be building an onboarding screen, or you can say intro screen for your Flutter applications. So this will be our end product. Also, I'll restart the application. Let's walk through the app. So let us see what will happen when we restart the application. So we will have this splash screen. I know this is not good looking, but it's okay because the purpose is to show intro screen, how to develop that without using any external packages. So let me swipe right. You can see the dot changes as soon as the image changes, and also look at this button. It is disabled right now, but when the user is on the last image, it will be enabled. So yeah, it is a good feature, right? So this will be what we will be building today, and I will see you in the coding section. So right now, guys, we are at my main.dart file, and what we will be doing is first we will be creating this splash screen. So go to your lib directory and create a folder called screens, and also create a folder called helper. I'll tell you why. So also I will be providing these assets in the link in the description below. Also I have already imported it in the pubspec.yaml file, so you know how to do that, I hope so. So let's start with a splash screen. So go to your screens folder and create a file called splash screen.dart. So let's create it a stateful widget splash screen and import this file, and go to your main.dart file and import it again. Okay, did I do something wrong? Splash screen. Okay, let's save it. Okay, the problem with my system is it is getting too slow when I'm using the emulator. So yeah, it happens sometimes. So bear with me if you are watching it very slow level. You can obviously do it like you can fast, or like, what do you say? I don't know. I'm forgetting the word. Okay, so whatever. So let's save it, and we will have an empty screen over here. So go to your splash screen and start creating the screen by using scaffold. And the scaffold has many properties, so we will be using directly body because we have no app bar in the screen, as we can see. So let's create a container, and the container will have something. The container will have a image, and it will have a text. So before going to that, let's create a helper function, or you can say constants. So go to your helper folder and create images.dart. So these will be some constants which we will be using. For that, let's create class images. So this is a good practice if you do in your real-time projects, and you don't have to write all the images path, and just you have to use the constants. So here I will create a static constant which will be of type string and will be called splash logo. So it will have this path of our first logo image. So copy the relative path and paste it. So I have created these 5 images. So these 5 constants. Also, if we need to change this direction of this particular sign, let's say it's this one. So let's save this file, and let's go to our splash screen. And in the splash screen, I told you we have a text, and then we have an image. We have an image, then under that we have a text, some text. So let's create a column for that, and let's create a column, and the column will have children. Children takes a list of widgets, as we know. So image.asset, and the first image we will be using is let's import the k images which we created right now, and let's call splash logo. It shouldn't be images, it's just image. Okay, so it's okay if you do mistakes. Also give it a height of 300, and let's format this code. I know the system is slow, I am sorry, I don't know what to do with this. So now let's give it a text. So container, and it will has a text, and this text will be, you can say whatever, but I'll say Captain's Automobile. Yeah, I like the term Captain's Automobile, like Batman's automobile. I know, sorry. Sorry for my poor jokes, but I like it. I have to crack myself up, because if I am not doing that, I don't know how I stay in this world. So give it a style, colors will be, we will be using an orange accent, so orange accent. And let's give it a size also, font size, which will be of 30 pixels, and weight, font weight. So you can style this. I just want to bore you with my all the stylings. You can skip that part. Now let's save it and let's see if something comes up. So I have to restart the application, and let's see. So we will have some image and the captain's logo type thing on the splash screen. Let's see. Okay, so just we have to align this right now. And why I used column with this container or wrapping the text, I'll tell you in a bit. So before that, let's create let's bring it to the center using the main axis alignment, and it will be axis alignment dot center. So it will be here. Now to bring it to the center, main center, the cross axis won't work, and if you want to check for yourself, you can try, but the cross axis alignment won't work on this. So let's try giving the container alignment. So alignment, so there are many ways to give alignments in Flutter using container or different widgets also, so you can try that also. So we have it here. Also let's give it some constraints to this container. Let's say constraints, we want this text to be aligned properly, and it is not looking good right now. So let's give it a box constraint, and we will say that maximum width it can take would be 200 pixels. So it will be something like it will come, yeah, okay. Now also we can align this using the text align property. So say text align dot center. So these are very basic layout widgets, and if you are looking into how to learn them, I have already started a course for that, so you can check. Okay, is it save or not? What happened? Let me restart. What happened? I don't know. See, again the system is very slow. So after that we have to do something else. Let's try with 220. Okay, 200 what do. Okay, now also what we need is this splash screen to be here for 2 seconds, and we want to see the intro screen. So for that, let's create an init function, override it, and we will use future dot delayed. What it does is it takes a duration, and it takes a function that for particular after that duration what you want to do with it. So let's give it a duration, and the duration would be of seconds, 2 seconds, and we will say let's say we will give it an anonymous function or any function you want, and let's say navigator, let's use navigator dot of context dot push. Okay, dot push. Let's give it a material page route, and it takes a builder, and let's give it a semicolon, and the builder takes a context, and it will return the screen which we want. So we will call it intro screen. Okay, like this. So let's define this intro screen in the screens folder, and to do that let's create a file called intro screen dot dot, and let's say stateful widget. It's a stateful widget and it will be called intro screen. Import the material dot dart file. Also let's give it a scaffold, and let's import it in the splash screen, right? So this is how we did our splash screen. Now we'll move into intro screen, and let's create the body and the body. So what we had, see, like when you create some screen, you have to break it down how you are planning to do that. So we had a carousel which will be the particular images which will be scrollable, and then we have the dots in a row, and then we had that button. So all of this was placed in a column, right? So let's say column, and it will have children. The first one would be our images, where we will be scrolling those images. So let's use height. Let's give it a height, because I'll tell you why. So we will be using page view builder for this particular application. How to create that carousel, we will be using page view builder, which is already a part of Flutter. So to do that, we will create a child in container, and that is why I gave the height, because you cannot use the page view builder or page view, or you have already used, I guess, list view and everything. So these cannot have unbounded heights. You need to provide some foundation, that this is your limitation, you have to be under this, only this much height or width. Okay, so that is why I use the container, and I provided with 500 pixels, which says, hey, page view, you cannot grow more than this. So let's give it a child, and let's say page view dot builder. And if you don't believe me, you can try, you can experiment. This is always a great way. Maybe sometimes I too forget things, and maybe you can tell me in the comment section, yeah, hey captain, you forget this, man, what is this nonsense? So the I don't know why I do that. So context, will take a context, and it will take it will take an index. So it will return something. So in this case, we will be returning maybe a image, not maybe a image, we will be returning an image, right? So image dot asset. Now we have few images with us. So now you can see this is like a index, same as like list view, right? So we have this index, so it will move from a particular list, going through every index. So for that, we can create a list for all the images we have already defined in this class. So let's create a final list of string. We will call it images, and we will say these images have k images dot car1. Also import it, because you need to and this is this. So we have all the 4 images in this list. So now we can access this particular images by using images and giving it in the index, right? So let's reformat it, and we have our images right now, and let's save it, and let's see what happens. So we have to restart the application, because that splash screen is used to drive us to navigate us to the intro screen. So let's restart the application. Meanwhile, we can do anything in the world, because my system is very slow, so it's okay. Have a tea. So okay, we have application. So we have this intro screen. Let me see if we can scroll it. So even though it looks okay, but do you think it's weird that it is taking only some height? It is not 500 pixels. I don't think so. Do you? So to check that, let's give it a color to check if it is taking the whole height or not. So colors.red, I said like to the container, and let's see what is happening here. So see, the 500 height is this much, but the image is taking so less. So what to do now? So to fix it, let's give it a fit property in the image, and let's say box fit dot fit height, because we want this particular image to fit all the height. So that is why we used fit height. So this has 5-6 different types you can use, and you can use and you can try it on your own time. So also we have this nice carousel now, which is scrollable, right? And you can see this particular notification tray or notification is over here. Okay, notification bar is over here, and we want this to move here, this particular image. We don't want this notification to be overlapping this particular image. So what to do? Already I have given Flutter layout courses, and if you haven't watched it, please do watch it, because there we will talk about a particular widget called safe area. Let me just come here and let's say safe area. So what safe area does is just it will give you this particular widget that you have to be here in that safe area. This is the safe area actually. So it will remove this from the notification bar, so there is no overlapping now. So this is looking pretty nice, and we are going in the right direction. So now we can move ahead with creating those dots. So when you see the application, you will, like we were thinking, we have to create a dot, 4 different dots. So that was placed in a row, right? This is our basic understanding. So if I create a particular dot, let's say build dots, we will create a function called build dots, and let's create a method which will return a widget, and it will be circle avatar, and it will have a background color of colors dot orange accent and a radius of 8.0. So let's see, there will be a single dot here, hopefully. So we can see the single dot. Also give us some spacing between them. Use sized box for that, and let's say height, okay, not child bro, height would be 20 pixels. So let's save it and let's see. So now what we have is we have the single dot, but we have 4 different images. So to be, if you are developing something, and first thought will be, let's copy and paste it 4 times, because we know that there are only 4 images. So that is one way to do that. That is the one way we can do that. But we are smarter programmers, we are developers, we will be using reusable code, and that is my motive, to make sure that you are using good practices while developing some applications. So what we can do is we can use a row, and the row will have children's, but in this children we already have that images, right? We have these images already, so we know what is the length of this particular list. So when we will be using a dynamic images, or when you don't know the length, that is a good practice, right? So we have to create a code which we can scale in the future. So right now if I add 10 or different images also, the images will come and the dots will be more, and they will grow together like the image did. So to do that, let's create images in the children's property, and we will say we want it as a map, and we will take these entries from this as a map, and then we will map these entries. So if you want to learn about it, I have already have a course where I will talk about this particular syntax, and let's say, or expression you can say, then we will say to list, to make it everything right. So in the nutshell, what happened, we took this list of images and we use it as a map, then we take those entries from that map and we map those entries. So what happened, we have this map entry now, and map entry takes integer and whatever the type you have defined in the list. So it is, the keys will be integer and the values will be of type strings. So what we will be doing is we will create build dots. We will return this particular function. So now what will happen, it will create 4 dots because there are 4 images in this particular list. So let's save it and let's see the difference. So we have 4 dots. See, we are smarter people and we do things like that. Now let's give it a spacing between them. So for that we will say main axis alignment, main axis alignment, oh sorry, main axis alignment dot space between, and let's see what happens. Okay, so we are here, and what we can do is we can wrap this row with a container and give it a width which is 100, so that we can have only this much container. And now we can say let's align them, let's save it, it will come in the center. Okay, so this is perfect, right? Now also what we can do is, the next thing we need is a button. So to create a button, we will say container, and we will say height of 40 pixels and width of 120 pixel, decoration, box decoration, and the box decoration will have a color, and the color would be colors dot white. This is when the button is enabled, so it's okay, we will create on that part also when we will disable that button. Now let's give it a border radius, and the border radius will take a border radius dot circular, and will take 20. And now also let's give it a sized box between the dots and the button, and let's save it. Okay, the button is here. Now let's give it a child, and it will be text, and let's say get started. And again, to bore you, we will give it some styling, and the styling would be something like, let's say color, the colors dot orange accent, font weight dot bold. I know I'm typing slow because my system is slow so I have to write so that you can understand each line. And the font size would be 16 pixels, and let's also give letter spacing 1.2. let's save it, and let's see the difference. Come on. Okay, we have this button. Now what we can do is we can bring this, say alignment dot center, to bring it in the center. Okay, sorry, so it will be in the center, right? Okay, perfect. So we are done with the UI part, and we can see the images are working. So now what we have to do is, just the thing left is we have to create some logic to see which particular image is selected right now, and move the dots and change the color of the button and dots accordingly. So for doing that, let's create an index called selected index, which will be a type of integer, and it will be 0. That means the initial value will be 0. So now let's use it somewhere. So what happens is, where will this change? This particular selected index will change when the page changes. How would we know? For that, we already have this page view builder, right? And the page view builder gives us property. Also, let's give it an item count. I just forgot to give that item count. So item count would be images dot length -1. Now let's say where we can give this particular change. So we have a property called onPage changed, and it gives an integer value. So these pages are definitely used as integers, we can see that, and this value is an integer. So whichever page is selected, it will give its index. So what we can do is we can say set state, and set state, what will set state do here? It will rebuild the widget tree, and we will say that selected index is now value. So we have to use this selected index. Now it is changing. So where we have to change the color, first one is the dots in the row. So let's go here, background color, and let's say if, so for that, now what we can check is we have to pass an index to this particular widget also, so that we know that which dot is placed where, so like which is the current dot selected. So we have to pass the index here, and for index I told you that map entry gives an integer as a key and string as a value, because we have a list of strings. So we can pass the key here as an integer, so it will be our index. So let's say if selected index would be index, then let's say the color is okay, orange accent. But if it is not, then let's say the color is, my bad, colors would be white 38. It is like a grayish color only, so no worries there. Okay. So also what we can do is we can change the different colors also here. The item count would be length, I just remember. And where we can change the button also, we have to change the button color also. So go to this place and let's say if selected index. So what we want is we want to disable the buttons for the entire images, but for the last index we want to enable it. So for that we will say images.length if the selected index is equal to images.length -1, because the length would be 4 but the index would be 3, so because it starts from 0, right? So yeah, what is the matter with you? What did I type? Okay, see, that is why you need to go to school, because you will forget the spellings. Okay, so parents, please send your kids to school, not to Whitehead Junior, or maybe Whitehead Junior also. That course is doing well, huh? So if the color is orange accent, then if the index is selected, then the color would be orange accent for this text. Otherwise it would be colors dot white, please colors dot white. Also we can use this on the decoration property, and let's say if it is this, if it is not enabled, then the button color will be white, otherwise it would be something called gray. So I think we are done with this application, and let's save it and let's see if there are anything which we missed, but I don't think so. Let's restart and let's see the difference. Come on, please restart. Okay, so this red color you see, because we were giving this container the red color, that is why. Also, why the splash screen moves so fast? So let's say 3 seconds here, and let's save it once more, and this will be the last time, I promise. You have to bear with me, and let's restart the application and let's see the difference. Okay, what is the matter with you? Okay, now we have the restarted application, and it will be somewhere soon, it will appear soon, don't worry. Okay, the image, and now we have this carousel, so we can move it, and let's see if it changes anything. So it is enabled, right? So this is how you create intro screens or onboarding screens in Flutter application without using any packages. It is pure Dart code, and I hope you guys like this video. If you do, please like, share and comment with the fellow developers, and supporting me, I would be I would appreciate it, and I thank you all for your support. So I'll see you in the next video. Your captain is out. Bye bye.